You're listening to the Midwest Coven Cast. I'm Susie.
I'm Sam.
And I'm Marilyn.
We're three modern pagans stumbling through life and honoring our craft.
Join us in conversations about, well,
just about everything.
And we hope that you enjoy this week's episode. Welcome back, Coven.
Welcome back, guys.
Welcome back.
Hello. We're doing a little something new this time.
We are. We're eating while we podcast. We have some delicious food here. We're probably going to talk with our mouth full and just hope you can understand us.
Well, our topic originally we were going to talk about today was food, and then we were like, well, we gotta eat, so we ordered some food, and now we were eating, and Sam was like, we could just
We still have to record, you guys.
Let's just get real meta and talk about food while we're stuffing our face with food.
I feel like our audience is real people that eat food and can understand, hey,
sometimes you just
gotta
hungry.
multitask.
I'm not just eating food, though. I'm also, rubbing my crystals and drinking my coffee and smoking my medications.
So you see,
multitasker
you're just
over there.
multitasking like a mother.
I'm just living my best life.
Right.
So today we were going to talk about food, as we said. So let's
Kind
talk
of
a
like
little
our...
bit.
Go
Go ahead.
sorry.
No. You go.
No, I cut you off. Go ahead. Sorry.
You go.
I do it a lot. Well, all I was going to say was particularly our relationship to food, kind of, but...
Yeah. Well, I think that we have some interesting stories around food, how we feel about it, what we do with it, just childhood memories around food, and we just have so many different favorite foods and food.
I like food.
So, me too.
So let's talk
Too
about what
much
we're eating
that
right
way.
now. I've been trying to eat healthier, and I totally...
Failed today.
Oh, yeah. Hard. Really hard.
It's okay. I tried to eat vegetarian. I ordered a double cheeseburger. So,
Yeah, I definitely am eating a cheeseburger and fries.
life issues.
We all got cheeseburgers today, which is rare. We don't usually get the same thing. Well, Susie and I, a lot of times, will eat the same thing if we go to the same place.
Yeah.
But Sam, you usually do order differently than we do.
Yeah, I usually order the fish. I usually try and stick to either fish
Yeah.
and sometimes chicken, but...
Although we have been, getting some, standard community motts.
Well, mott sticks are still vegetarians.
True story. But it is something that we all seem to like pretty well.
Yeah.
I am new to Matt's.
You're
And
new.
see,
What?
the first one that you tried was cold, and you were like, bitches, this is
Yeah.
just
disgusting.
cold,
Yeah,
this is a deep-fried
She said
cheese
it's
stick.
It's just like a piece of string cheese with bread on it. And we were like, yes. But
it's cold.
It's not
No,
deep fried
right?
anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so the next time we ordered them, I did try one while it was hot. And I've had them in the past before, and they were okay, but the problem was that they always fucked with my stomach so bad that I knew that I didn't want to ever... It was never worth the trade.
We've both always had terrible relationships with milk and lactose in general. I still drink it and eat it, though, because that shit's good. But...
I'm like half and
regret.
half because, honestly, I can drink skim milk. I can drink a whole bunch of skim milk and not feel anything.
Mm-hmm.
But if I drink, there's this Prairie Farms 2%, or not 2%. I think it's made with 2% or whole, but it's Prairie Farms chocolate milk.
Uh-huh.
Oh man, and honestly anymore I can still drink it and it doesn't mess with my stomach. But for a while there, I would drink that and it would oh man. Yeah,
Just rip
not
you
good.
up inside.
It just was very churny, if that makes any sense.
No.
Yeah.
You aren't sure if you have to do I say this while we're eating?
I mean, not to be gross. I mean, it isn't that
But,
gross. It would back me up, not the other.
Oh, see, sometimes I'm the opposite direction.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah, no, it wouldn't.
Sorry, Sam.
It wouldn't do that
You're welcome.
to me.
And
but,
sorry, listeners. But you're welcome.
Hey,
Well,
it's all about.
This is
going
not
in and
about
going
food,
out.
but I want to make an interruption. I got a Fitbit recently,
Mm-hmm.
and it just notified me that I have been in my heart rate zone for since we started recording this podcast. So there's my anxiety level. When we, it's
that's not good.
Oh,
it's
man.
hey, you're working out. When no,
Yeah.
I'm just sitting here talking to you guys. Well, maybe it's also the double cheeseburger that I don't know, but my heart rate has increased for a substantial amount of time. It thinks that I'm burning so many calories.
Oh, man.
I'm eating calories, not burning them, dear. But hey, it's getting me exercise points for the day. What does it know?
But on the topic of milk, Sam, I feel like you have talked before about how Dylan has some sensitivities to milk too.
Yeah, Dylan has like eczema that he gets really bad when he has his milk, and I've noticed that, like, I don't know, his doctors all think I'm crazy because I'm just I don't know, his mother who observes him every single day. Who am I to know?
But you've observed a pattern.
Yeah, that when not only does his eczema increase, but also his like behavioral patterns increase also in a negative way. And
dairy in general, or
like,
lactose more specifically?
Yeah, like just things that have more lactose or milk, you know, and I would like tell the school that, and they would still give him milk every day at lunch, like,
why?
And then wonder why his behavior problems are, you know, I don't know. It was always seemed like a cycle to me. When he had milk, he would start lashing out, and then his eczema would start like flaring up, and so I think it just is a whole nervous system thing. That his nervous system is just triggered by dairy, and that it like flares off in his brain and on his skin, like, and they don't like. There's not links like that. That's not a thing. Like, I mean, whatever.
That sucks,
like,
though, because dairy is so good. Like ice cream, and that poor kid. Like your mom will eat like a pint of ice cream a night if she could.
She's a champ.
She loves her ice cream.
For a while, I think she lived just off her pints of ice cream and Cheetos.
Oh my goodness. I do love me some Cheetos though too.
I mean, I like Cheetos. I have some Flamin' Hots at home, but I'm always afraid to eat them because I have to pick the baby up all the time, and I'm like, I'm gonna have Cheeto fingers, and like, and I don't know how to use chopsticks, so I know there's people that like just eat them with chopsticks. I don't know how to do that.
It takes too much coordination.
It's not my skill level. Sorry.
Fair enough, you know. But I think like what part of my problem too is dairy is like there are so many things like growing up, and even that I cook now because of course they're sort of products of my growing up that are just so milk based, like grandma's biscuits and gravy. Like that is just
which
like,
I do not have a really good relationship with.
There's a whole puking story. I was there-ish.
You were.
I was with that weekend, yeah.
Oh, man.
I just got to hear
and
about
I looked
it.
at you, too, like, when we were sitting there, and you're, like, I was like I don't
help
feel
me.
good. And she's like, you better finish your plate. Like, she gave me, like, a whole plate of biscuits and gravy, and she's like, you better clear your plates. And I'm like, but Grandma, I can't. Like, I can't eat anymore. She made me eat as much as I could, and then we went to church.
Yeah. Well, then, so, well, to be fair, Grandma did come up at a time where food was scarce. It's my understanding that she came from a very poor family. Yeah. So to them, like, you had to finish your plate. Finished your plate but, you know, it's got... So now that's kind of her mindset, but then it's got, like, modern applicability. Like, you don't always need to finish your plate when you're, like, not feeling well already.
Well, and I think it was kind of growing up in my house, too. Breakfast wasn't really, like, a huge thing. Like, we got, like, Pop-Tarts and, like, you know, like, or, like, a granola bar or, like, nothing. And we would walk to school and not worry about breakfast. Right. So, like, to have a big breakfast or any breakfast at all, like... and finish the whole thing when it's the whole plate. Like, no.
I think my breakfast habits kind of stem from my childhood too, because we were kind of the same way. We had like maybe Pop-Tarts or maybe cereal, like oatmeal, something frozen. Maybe
I wouldn't even have that when I was growing up,
or nothing.
The fruits and cream oatmeal. Mm-hmm. That was the jam. Or the ones that had like the hatching dinosaur eggs. Those were
all the sugary cereals they have. Oh yeah, they're yummy.
Mom would go to work, and like for the vast majority of our lives, for Susan and I, like
it was always Mom
starting when I was like 5, which was like before school really started. Like our parents were separated, so it was mostly just Mom, and so we either went to the babysitter when we were really little, and then once we got a little older and they let us stay on our own. It was like, you know, Mom was gone in the morning before we got out to school and like whatever. So we were kind of on our own in that respect.
In the breakfast area.
At breakfast time for sure.
She was there for dinner mostly.
Yeah. And then dinner was, school was lunch. Yeah. So that was always kind of.
Yeah, we always had the hot lunch at school.
Yeah.
But yeah,
we
we
never
always have
had
similar things,
anything
though.
made for
Yeah, I almost never did too. Well, I actually, when I was in 4th, 5th, and 6th grade, I worked in the cafeteria. And I got free lunches for working in the cafeteria.
Oh, nice.
Wow.
And so I pretty much always just had hot lunch. And then Mom would just instead pay me what she would usually pay for my hot lunch, which was kind of cool.
Nice.
So it was kind of like my quasi first job.
Yeah.
4th, 5th, and 6th grade. Well, I was the lunch lady's favorite. I was that kid. They loved me. So I did it in 4th grade, and I did such a good job, and that they requested me for 5th grade and for 6th grade. So
They were like, fuck it, we can have her help. I mean, why wouldn't we?
I was such a good worker.
That's pretty cool, though. I mean, really, it gives you experience when you're young. Honestly, that goes hand in hand with what we were talking about, the other countries, how they actually, like, you know, taught their kids how to help serve in that process and stuff.
Yeah.
So you got a hand of, or like, you know, a little hint of that within your
To a
experience.
degree, like I never got to like cook the food or anything. Like I would
You got to
punch
serve
people's
it.
tickets or hand them their little styrofoam box or like
Right,
you
but you
know.
still got to kind of help be the distributor, and you know, there's still some
I had to
cool.
work around it a little bit.
And then, like you said, you got money at the end of the day from Mom for it, so it was almost like you got to earn, you know, by doing something for others, you got to earn something for yourself, and
Right.
got to learn that,
Yeah.
you know.
Learn
So
some
that's pretty cool.
responsibility and
Yeah,
whatever.
at a young age, you know, all the other kids are just going through the meal, or going through the line, taking their meal, like, hell yeah, it's lunchtime, I'm about to go stuff my face, you know. That's how everybody else learns in America, is to just stand in line, get your food, stuff your face, go about your
Yeah.
day, and continue on. So,
Like in
Yeah.
high school, like I don't remember what age we started getting allowance, but like my lunch money was also my allowance. So at one point I just stopped eating lunch because then I had more allowance money, you know, like
I could go spend this on stuff.
yeah. And
Why
plus
eat?
like there were a couple of years where I didn't even have like a friend group that had the same lunch hour as me. So like I'm not going to go sit in the cafeteria by myself and not eat lunch. I'm just going to like
Hang out.
Yeah.
do whatever. Yeah.
Well, and that's one of the things that I guess I never really had. I was trying to think of, like, when I was in high school, like, I never really had a specific table that I sat at. Like, I remember I think in freshman year, it was kind of, I was still within, like, my group of friends that I had been with for a while. And so we had our little thing, because some of us didn't have the same lunch hour either. And that was always the thing where, like, if you had your friends in your lunch hour, it was great. But if you didn't have your friends in your lunch hour, then you just kind of, like, were, you know, hanging out with whoever you knew in the hour,
depends
too,
for
that
me,
didn't have their
like-
friends in the lunch hour either.
Yeah.
So I had like the theater kids, and then
If you were
once I got
lucky.
into like high school, I had like my movie theater friends from work too. So I usually ended up with at least one or two people that I could sit with at lunch that were friends. So I was pretty lucky in that respect, thankfully. But
And
like,
I usually had a few people that I had from, like, my,
Yeah.
whatchamacallit, the fine arts days. They usually had their
Yeah.
own little, like, fine arts kids table that kind of transitioned together
Right.
as it went on. So I kind of was able to, like, cling into that one a little bit, you know, here and there. And then
Yeah.
as time progressed and I kind of started hanging out with, like, Corey and Ryan and them more, then I got transitioned into, like, more of the Zach group and his friends. And so
Yeah.
I think toward the end of my high school days, like, I was more or less sitting with them at lunch.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was...
it kind of made me like a social chameleon in some ways. But one of my regrets about that though is like, as a result of like the social chameleon-y, I feel like I've been really bad about keeping friends over the long haul.
Right,
Like, it's not that I feel that they're disposable. It's just like one of those things.
God,
like you
no.
feel like, oh, time's going by, and like like
yeah.
I'm just
think there's
terrible.
anything
See,
wrong
I've
with
had
that.
my friends for like long extended periods of time, but I have very few friends. So I have like my bestie who it's, I don't know, like going on 20 years. I don't remember. Maybe
Yeah.
not 20. No.
You guys look like you have so much fun together.
like 17 years now, something.
Long time.
Yeah, but like, and then I have other friendships which I've finally given up on because they were toxic, and like I was holding on to them because of their length and the memories, but
Sometimes,
like mature me has realized that like just because you have those memories, like toxic people are toxic and get them away from you. So
Yeah, it's not.
so now I have like a even smaller circle, but I'm not in a
I don't think it's to, like, hold a grudge against any of the people that are still on the path of that, like, you know, quote-unquote toxic lifestyle. But at the same time, it's, you know, it's everybody has their own...
You need to be aware of its impact on you.
Exactly.
So.
Yeah. Yes. And, yeah, it's one of those things that...
Yeah. A lot of mine, in terms of, like, friendships, it was just, like, life kind of brought us in different directions for a while. And I'm terrible about keeping in touch with people.
I think
I'm such an introvert that, like... I think this comes back to my introversion to some degree.
Mm-hmm.
Is like, I'm very okay with being alone. And sometimes I'll be alone. Like, right now, the pandemic, it's been weird because it's like, there are parts of it that give me anxiety and, like, whatever. But the introverted side of me is like,
okay,
I feel energized and I can do things and, like, whatever. But, like, also I have panic attacks sometimes. Well, not, like, literal, but, like, I feel like I'm on the verge of them sometimes because I have anxiety and, like, the world is falling apart. So it's very weird. Like, my brain has, like, not functioned well recently. Like, I can do some things, but, like, anything that deserves, like, really deep critical thinking or anything, I'm just
my
kind of
executive
like,
functioning is, like,
oh,
really
mine's, like,
terrible.
0.
Like, I have homework that I should be prioritizing, but, like, instead... I mean, I've been prioritizing playing with the kids a lot, which it matters too, but...
Yeah.
It does.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there's a lot of things that I just put off, even though I should... Like, I have time for them, in theory, but...
Yeah. I can relate to a degree. I'm just kind of like, my ability to do things that I need to do, like, is... It's terrible. It's like a fight with myself constantly to do things I need to be doing. And I lose a lot.
Which is why I was like, hey, I know we're still eating. We should just record this now because we need to get this shit done.
Have you guys ever heard of that Tim Ferriss 4-Hour Work Week? I probably brought it up before, I feel.
Well, I feel like maybe I've heard of the 4-Hour Work Week. That slogan sounds familiar to me, but I'm not sure why.
Well, one of the things that he brought up in that was the fact that, like, a lot of us are feeling overwhelmed with how much we have to do because we are just doing way too much that we don't even really necessarily have to be doing.
Yeah.
So, like, if you were to just find out what you truly actually need to be doing and only do the things you need to do and eliminate or delegate or automate all the other things that are the things you're taking up your time and your effort and your energy to do.
That's why I want to live in a bus.
I mean, honestly, there'd be
Trevor
so much...
thinks that he needs to keep his, like, secure job and he needs to, but, like, why do we need that extra income if we can buy the bus and then just live in it? And then why would we need the income more than what we already have? Like, I don't, you know, like, I just don't understand the...
Because you value your time more than you value money, and he still values... Not values, I shouldn't say,
well,
but
he wants to have security for the children, which I also understand, but, like... Yeah. Different personality types, and it's frustrating.
You're so free, and you want to be free.
He's just like,
and he's
no.
Like, very unstable feeling.
But Dylan also said that he doesn't want to live in a bus either. So
yeah.
Well, then at least there's that.
That crushed my dreams.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Well, then maybe there's a way that you guys can make it work. You can just have some sort of, like, something that you either own and you can use on the weekends, or, like, you know, you guys can always still have something to do that with.
Yeah.
Just not be not the only outlet you have to live
I'm always
with.
like curious though about, like, people with those small homes. Like, I could never do it because the kitchen is, like, almost like nothing, and I need a kitchen that I can cook in.
You could definitely get a big kitchen in some. It depends on what you want to prioritize. So if you're prioritizing the kitchen, you would just have more kitchen space and maybe not have as much something else, you know?
Right.
I don't think I could do it. I feel like I'd want too many things. I want all the things.
And I think that's my problem too, is at this point, I need to just minimize on all the shit that I currently have and get okay with that first before I could ever make another bigger transition into something, say, like, small house or a bus, or, you know, like, I could not, at this point, imagine myself feeling okay with that. Like, I don't know. At one point in my life when I was a kid, I did. I was like, let's go live in this storage unit. Fuck it.
I think
and now I'm like, oh God, how can I do it?
Like, mine's partly, like, driven by my lack of trust in our government and, like, the fact that I know at some point everything's going to go to shit. So, like, having a geographical location that I'm tied to doesn't sound like a priority. Like, I would rather have a secure home that I can move wherever I want to be.
You know,
and
you're
escape
not wrong.
and not be trapped.
I feel you to a degree
You're not
because
wrong.
I mean, I hope we're heading in the right direction with Biden, but he's still like, I don't know.
Let's be honest, it's so controlled, and I mean,
Yeah,
everyone
I mean,
is
I have
at
my
this
reservations no matter the party, to be honest, but yeah, I don't know, and so I can
The
feel
power
you.
struggle is real.
I can understand that impetus in wanting a bus, but there's also a part of me that feels the need to be rooted, at least for me. Like I need something consistent and like
Yeah.
Again, but maybe that is what they are culturally driven into us to want to have, so that way we are tied down to a mortgage, and we're tied down to bills, and we're tied down to a geographical location, and we're tied down.
Yeah, I don't want to be tied. I want to be free.
But I think it's also sort of a natural impetus of the human race too, in some degrees.
I
like,
mean, this is
I mean, there
true.
are
It is
nomadic
something-
peoples or whatever,
I
but
was-
eventually
yeah.
people did sort of settle down
I
at
guess
some
it's
point,
true. It's
you know,
not
in
all
places.
conspiracy.
And not everything's a conspiracy. I mean, I think, don't get me wrong, I have like
put us in
plenty of
houses to
reservations
control
about
us.
our government and whatever. I'm skeptical of a lot of
Not to make us
things.
comfortable.
But I'm not sure that like it's that kind of a big conspiracy technically, at least in this respect. But yeah. But I don't know. I think for me too, it's also partially like the family thing, like having some place for everybody to come back to and to be familiar and comfortable, like that, like having mom's house.
I
I
do
do
like
like-
this, like
Yeah.
I do like to get kind of back into topic, having
Yeah.
your own land to grow your own food on.
yes,
Yes.
So land ownership, so that you can do things like that and like create your own like homestead
Yeah.
for yourself. Like I would much rather like buy a plot of land and start something
Like a
like live in a
homestead sort of
yurt
deal?
or live in
Yeah.
you know, something small and primitive that we could like, I don't know.
I was just watching this.
My views on my like what I require to live and what my, I don't know, dream home would be is probably not very on par with what like, you know, my most people in America's dream home and like the American dream is, you know,
Right.
I don't know.
Well, I think there's a lot of
I was
diverse
just watching
opinions
a
on that. I
YouTube
think that's
video
really cool.
yesterday that was literally a guy that lives on the river, and he literally has like a little tiny little thing for his chicken coop. He's got a little tiny thing where he turns his own shit into compost. He has this little thing where he has like all the compost on this side where he like he recycles everything. He transitions it over to this side, and then he has all the fresh stuff on this side. Like, he's got this whole thing down. He's been living there for 17 years off the grid. Like, it's crazy. He has a boat that he goes out to, and I'm like, that would kind of be, like, it would be
I
so
want to buy
peaceful.
a composting toilet so bad. And Trevor's like, no. And I was like, we can just, like, I know we have a toilet in the house, but we can just use this one instead so that, like, we get used to it and how it works while, you know, like, and he's like, no.
He's like, the sewage will take my dinky bush, thanks.
I was like, we can start a garden, like, because I have a compost, like, spinner, or,
Right.
yeah, anyways.
I mean, I have heard that shit does make very good compost, some of the best, but at the same time, like...
with the diet that he has, probably
you're like, probably not.
I mean...
You know, it's true, I mean...
We order out a lot lately, especially
yeah.
pandemics.
Pandemically.
Well,
yeah.
that's kind of also back on topic too. So like, I've been trying my hardest to eat healthier, right? But yeah, like there are times when I am just like today, I was craving a fucking cheeseburger.
You're like, I need some beef.
I needed some greasy beef. Like, I wanted the bread, I wanted the grease, I wanted the cheeseburger, and I wanted
You're
the
just like,
fried
put your
food.
meat in me.
And we all followed suit. We all followed suit and got cheeseburgers.
I'm sorry.
Is it a woman thing though? Are you? Because that's usually when I crave red meat. Is when like I'm gonna bleed.
Well, not yet. I mean, I should still be.
You're like, let me check my period tracker.
Yeah, let me check my app. No, I'm just kidding. But no, I'm good. No.
But yeah, I don't know. I think I could. I mean, if I needed to use a compost toilet, I would. But I
Yeah, I could agree to that.
have
You don't have
reservations
to.
about the thought of
Getting
putting my
one
poop
just
on my
because.
garden.
Yeah. you're on
just
that
a mental
boat, man,
thing.
go for it. But if you're here in the house and you got this like city water running, and you got that toilet, ooh, it's
Might have the best tomatoes in town, though. I don't know.
But I'm just saying, the less we have to rely on outside sources, the better. And if we can start
I feel
becoming
you.
more self-sufficient inside our home without having
Yeah.
I agree to
anything
that.
regulated coming in, you know.
Yeah.
I agree to that 100%. I think if
I can-
everybody did that, oh my god, do you know how
Yeah.
crazy that would change things?
Well, I can understand the impetus to a degree. I really can. Because, I
Like
mean, well,
compost.
part of it was like,
I mean, yeah.
that was part of my
I'm just a
impetus
nut
behind
job,
why.
but it's all coming out.
It's not
Well,
nutty,
when
though.
Mom
I mean,
wanted to start the garden, that was like, it was kind of like when things were, well, I mean, things are still like not great, but like,
Yeah.
it was back last summer when like the pandemic had just kind of started, and I was like, Mom, I think this is going to be a long haul thing, and it has, of course, because, but yeah, so I think like that became like a big
We should
impetus
get
behind my
chickens.
life. Let's
Chickens are
help. I know. I want to get chickens so bad.
Are they legal
Yeah.
inside your city limits? Or-
I'm not sure if they are or not. To be
I think
completely
in
honest
my
with you.
county they are.
Thankfully, though, I do have a friend who has chickens, and
No.
so I buy eggs from her. And I don't know if they're gonna do like use the chicken for chicken at like the end of its life or
Aw.
not. I don't know.
Right.
Or chickens. I'm not sure really. I actually know a couple people who raise chickens. I just get the eggs from one of them right now, though. We're all looking outside of my
gonna
house,
ask
like,
something.
where
I
would we
think
put this
I
chicken
think you
coop?
can have chickens, but not roosters.
Oh, okay. They're loud. Is
Yeah.
that why?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Good morning.
Bitches.
Oh, your
But yeah, I would.
Don't quote me on that, but
Yeah. I'd have to look at like the village, and I don't know if it's my mom's property technically still, so even though I live here, so I would have to get permissions and things, and I don't know how she'd feel about it in general, because she's already said like no pets here, which I'm a little bummed about because I would love like a small dog or something like that. Speaking of food and growing your own, though,
Yes.
I just bought all kinds of stuff. Well, A, we started stuff for the garden. And B,
Yeah.
I just bought a bunch of stuff to start my at-home herbal garden. Because now that I know that I can have the upstairs here, because your mom is no longer moving in.
Mm-hmm.
She's staying with my mom instead. Then I can start the herbal garden upstairs because it's now my space to
The
do
domain.
what I would wish. So I'm going to start my own herbal garden so I can stop buying them.
So yeah,
Well, I was just gonna say, we'll go.
we
ahead.
did like breakfast and lunch as kids, and then for dinners, I don't remember what age, but at some point, like me and my brother, we were just kind of expected to cook the family dinners. Like we kind of rotated. Yeah, I mean,
kinda.
yeah, it was like hamburger helper or like shake and bake or something, you know,
It was
like
an easy meal to make, but still something that was, like you said, a chore maybe, like expected
yeah.
as a.
And then we would load the dishwasher and do the laundry and
So you guys were.
run in the household.
While mom and dad were at work.
I mean,
Yeah.
maybe once Kelly gets older, maybe that's what I can. I mean, I already bought you guys.
We were
ordered that
supposed to do
vacuum
chores, but we were
cleaner
kind of terrible about them.
Oh, we were terrible. Our house growing up was not one to be.
Yeah. Well, we had a single parent, and we did not help very much
No.
with.
Well, we didn't.
dishes and stuff.
Picking up wasn't really a thing either. Nobody really picked up around our house. But
Yeah.
the dishes and the laundry were
Yeah.
chores.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we were in charge of doing our own laundry because I remember one time, I'm pretty sure, like, we were, like, yelling. I think Mom just finally had it because at one point in time she had one of us come to her and say, "Oh my God, you didn't clean this shirt and it wasn't ready for me to wear on this day," or something like that. It's like, all right, well, then y'all can clean your own shit then.
You
If
need
that day
it done at a
forward-
certain time?
Yeah, like, and if you think about it as a parent now, like, what the hell? Like, let my kid come to me and tell me that. That's the day that I'm gonna do the same shit to her. Like,
Dylan would just wear it dirty. He wouldn't care. He'd be like, yep, I need to wear this today. Like his Taco
Yeah.
Tuesday shirt. If it's on Tuesday, it doesn't matter if it's dirty. He's going to wear that shirt.
yeah. See me if it had wrinkles on it. Oh hell no! If it was like not cleaned or whatever, like oh my God, I can't wear that in public and not feel like I'm just
Yeah.
disgusting.
I should get better and just have that shirt clean on Taco Tuesday, but
Yeah.
I don't do laundry once a week. That's what?
Honestly, I do laundry, I think, too often. Like, I am starting to realize that I think some of the days that I'll wear my shirt or my pants or something for, like, a small period of time, and then instead of, like, just throwing it in the laundry pile for it to be dirty, it's like, just fold it, set it to the side, and wear it again. Like, it's not
I've just been
dirty.
gross during the pandemic, because who the fuck cares?
I mean...
The only people I
Anybody
see are,
coming
like,
over?
you two.
6 foot distance. But yeah, no, I think part of the reason why I do so much laundry too, though, is because of Mel. Because with her bed and stuff, sometimes you just
kind of.
I wear the same pajamas all day, every day for like a week, and then find different pajamas.
Yep, pretty much me. It depends.
Shower
on the
here
day.
and there, between there, and then change my panties. Good to go.
Yep, there we go.
New day. Same
Yeah,
pajamas.
we kind of did the same
what?
thing.
It's a new day, same pajamas.
That's right.
But we would do sort of the same thing. We would cook sometimes when we got a little older.
Yeah,
At
we
least
got
I
older.
remember sometimes.
I would always cook mac and cheese. I remember I liked to cook, and then
mac and cheese, tuna
noodles. Yep.
Yeah,
I
like
remember
kinda
mac
simple
and
stuff.
tomato too.
Yep.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And then we would always have like the ravioli in
Ramen,
the can,
maybe.
ramens,
Yeah.
sandwiches.
Yeah.
We would have very basic foods around the house.
And as we got a
which
little
wasn't
older,
bad,
we
but-
kind of took more time to do stuff ourselves too.
Well, yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
I think Mom wasn't too demanding, but when I could tell that when she got home, she would try to do what she could, and it was wearing on her to even keep up with what she had to keep up with, because she had the 40-hour-a-week job, plus she was driving to and from, especially when she was driving to and
Yeah,
from
when she was going to
Chicago.
Chicago and shit. Oh,
Ugh.
God. Yeah.
And 3 kids. Damn.
Ugh, it was
Like,
bad.
Her day started at like 3 a.m. because she would carpool.
She
and,
said
like,
that she literally had to reaffirm to herself every morning, I can do this, I can do this, I can do this, and I would hear her repeating that to herself as she would get her morning routine done.
Yeah, that'd be tough. So yeah, we were kind of left to our own devices a lot of time during that time. And so we kind of had to learn to cook and whatever. I mean, we
Yeah.
kind of knew from Mom
Absolutely.
anyways, but like
I
Oh,
had
man.
babysitters here and there, but even with the babysitters, they didn't know. Yeah, you were one of them.
What?
Sorry, she was one of the babysitters.
Oh, yeah.
the summer of hell.
Yeah, but
no, it wasn't that bad.
But our babysitters were a couple years older than us. Their
Yeah.
cooking skills were sometimes on par with us because we were expected to cook anyways, So
Yeah.
sometimes we knew more than they did.
Yeah.
Well, and I think
Ice cream for lunch, it's fine.
Well, I think part of and I don't know about this. I think that's okay. I'm kind of going to go a little off tangent, but not. So I think part of the reason why our parents were, giving us the things that they were giving us was because society was marketing it in such a way that it was a good thing, and that it also was a more convenient thing for them as parents, and, this
Yeah,
and that.
we grew up in an era of a lot of prepackaged food dye things.
Yeah, and no one knew anything about it being a bad thing at all, so everybody got hooked on it. Now we're all hooked still on the same things. I can't stop pop. That's one of the things that I've cut back on it, but I still,
Bubble,
every day I have one.
I like Buble or Bubble or whatever, the bubble water.
Bubbly or whatever.
I don't like a lot of the brands, but I like that brand. So a lot of those flavors, Dylan likes them too, and those are 0 sugar, 0 calorie.
I'm picky too, so I'll have to
things,
try
I think.
that.
I usually won't drink I will if that's the only thing available, but I will usually prefer the non-flavored seltzer waters or soda waters.
Yeah.
I
have to
like
have
Topo Chico. It's so good.
I have to have a flavor and the seltzer.
And you like the sweetened ones too.
I
don't
do
you?
like the
Yeah.
hint of lime Perrier or whatever, the green
Oh,
bottle that you.
Yeah.
I like that.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that was good.
Yeah.
Oh, did you have that?
I've had that before. Yeah, Dylan likes that too.
Oh,
buy
because
it
I brought
sometimes.
some over because I had tried one and I didn't.
I don't know
care
if
for
I'm
it at
pronouncing
all.
any of these things correctly, but
That's all right. But
When
no,
those
I had
sparkling
actually
water
bought
brands.
some thinking, oh yeah, I'll try it, maybe I'll like it, and I tried one and I didn't care for it at all, so I let Marilyn have that one that I tried and like the other two that
That
I
was
got
some time
with it,
ago.
I was just like, man, I was disappointed that I didn't like it because I was really hopeful that I could find something like that I could drink instead of my pop that I would feel was just as good. But I haven't found it yet. But yeah, I also, and along with the seltzer, I like, I remember one time I tried, oh my god, Canada Dry. No, not Canada Dry. No, it's not
Ginger
it.
ale?
It's seltzer water.
LaCroix?
Something Canadian. Clearly Canadian.
Oh, clearly Canadian. Okay.
That's really good, but I bet you that has a lot of sugar in it because it's sweet and it tastes really good. So I could just imagine it's.
Some of those are
for me.
sugarless, though. I don't know. There's like diet ones or ones that don't have as much sugar as pop, but
I'll have to try and see if they have that version. But yeah, the one that I tried, I liked it, but again, it's probably just as bad as my pop is. So. But anyways.
yeah, I've been trying not to do pop myself.
Yeah.
I mean, I got it with lunch today. Like, if I order out, I might get pop, but I don't buy it for the house, basically.
Yeah, see, I do. It sucks.
Yeah.
I'm still totally in the habit. And so is Corey. We both just drink it all the time.
It's your cocaine.
Yeah, pretty much. I'm addicted to Coke, but not in the same way others are.
But not the drug.
Yeah.
Not the official drug.
Another thing that I feel like I'm kind of addicted to that I can't stop is bread. Like,
Yeah.
I love bread.
Mm-hmm.
It depends for me. Pasta I like a lot.
We should
Ooh, bad
start
with
a
pasta.
sourdough thing because that's like a.
And you can keep that going, kind of, can't you?
Yeah.
As long as
Oh,
you're-
like friendship bread or whatever. Is that
Yeah.
what they called it?
And I want to
had
start
that at one
making
point.
bread. I've never made bread. I mean, I have like here and there, but I've never like.
Dude, I'm on the same thing. I actually
made
heard about
bread.
making it, and I remember one time Mom made some for me. We went to like that old schoolhouse where they like kind of bring you back in time as far as like how they used to experience school,
Yeah.
like in a schoolhouse, and we were told to make our lunches, like they would at that time. So Mom actually made homemade bread. That was the best fucking bread I
I
Yeah.
used
had.
to love bread. Yeah.
Oh, it was so good. I was
Homemade
like,
stuff
I
was
need to learn
good.
how to make this. And now it's like 20 years later and
Yeah.
I've never
Like,
fucking made
let's
any.
do this.
That kind of bread, or like
Bread.
baguettes and stuff like that. I guess I do like some breads. I just don't buy them very often because I let them go bad. We should like take a day sometime and just do like bread and then freeze it, and then we could just all have bread for like a few weeks before we do it again.
Yeah.
Well, and I wonder if by making it ourselves, it would be healthier for us.
Oh, I'm sure.
Because-
Well, yeah, you can control the ingredients and not have preservatives.
You don't have to put
and-
preservatives and shit. in it
Right.
as
Well,
much,
because
yeah.
also there was something else that I was reading about. They were asking, well, if there's like this.
That's why, bakeries are starting to be less and less because, economy things.
Yeah.
But
Well,
like
it's
this
cheaper
guy
to mass produce cheap, preservative-ridden bread that can be
Right, yeah, then go
brought
to a
everywhere in one
bakery
central
and,
distribution. Because you can benefit from economy of scale, right? So buying like tons of flour versus a few bags a week. Or
Yeah.
whatever, or a few 100 pounds a week, or something like a local bakery would do, right?
Well,
Like,
and I wonder if that's
I could
why.
just the smell of walking into a small bakery though,
I know.
like that can never go away. You need
Girl.
Yes.
bakeries need to stay around.
I'm so lucky because
Yes.
at my work, they literally every morning bake fresh bread, and I get that every morning on my way out of work.
if people
'cause I
can
work
afford it,
overnight.
they should buy from local bakeries. Or
Yeah.
like,
Oh,
I really want to
God.
start. Like, one of our neighbors is like a meat seller. We should be buying meat from him. Like, I don't know why we are not.
Well, dude,
He's
you
kind of on
said
the other
meat?
side of meat.
Oh, meat.
The
Yes.
butchers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the thing is, though, what I want to try to start doing, and I don't even know if I haven't done this ever, but I wonder what the big difference is between the grass-fed beef and the regular beef, because I do want to see what the difference in taste is, because I've heard it's like way better for you than the other is, because of what they're fed. But no, anyways, what I was going to say earlier, though, was I watched this video, and they were talking about how because of the way that we produce our bread and our wheat, like, I think I don't know if it's the enriched bread or if it's just the wheat that is used in our breads in general over here in America, we are allowed to, is it fortify? I think it's fortification or something. I gotta read, it's something that is so fresh in my brain because I just
Bleach.
watched it. But basically, they outlaw it overseas to be done, and that's why their breads are a lot healthier for you in general, anyways, than the breads that are produced here in America because they don't give a shit about the regulations on how they're produced. Same thing with pastas. Like, that's why Italians have way
It's like
better
enriched
pasta.
or whatever.
It's not, like they don't have all of these preservatives and additives and all this bullshit in there that they don't allow over there because they know it's
dyes
so bad
are
for them.
outlawed in a lot of countries as well, and that's one thing that like there's in so many foods like unnecessarily in America. And
well, and that's why I wish that it's too bad that us growing up didn't know about it, or like that people aren't aware of this stuff until it's like already so far down the line. But at the same time, I mean, at least now we are becoming aware of it, and now we can make changes to do things that we are, you know. And that's one of the things that I'm kind of, it's funny how once you like transition your perspective a little bit, like just even me becoming a mom, like I never really even looked at food in the way that I used to look at food. Like I just kind of ate food because I ate food. It was just whatever's in the kitchen, and then I'd always buy the same things to put into the kitchen, and then it was whatever's in the kitchen, and then I would go to the grocery store. What are we out of? Oh, the same thing. So I'd buy the same things.
But now you have to consider like, what am I teaching my daughter, and what am I putting
fueling
in
my body
daughter?
with? Honestly, what I've come to the conclusion too of is like, I want to live as long as I can for her sake, because obviously that's just what we all want to do. And even for my own sake too, selfishly, obviously you want to live long. Well, I want to live long. I don't know, whatever.
Well, but I think you probably understand too. I mean,
I feel like there's, I feel like there's definitely now more eye-opening benefits to living a long life than I could have ever foreseen before, and therefore I'm paying more attention to the things that can elongate that life, and it's just one of those things that comes hand in hand is, food. You just, and they always tell you when you're little, eat your vegetables.
Well, see, I've always had,
water.
I don't think I've always had a healthy relationship with food because I know of so many of, like, the bad things to look out for. But sometimes it's like, well, at some point, what's safe then? So you don't eat anything.
And I think that's one of the things I had to back away from, because I know that there's a lot of stuff out there that is really bad for us that we really need to take into consideration not doing. But at the same time, like, I don't want to necessarily just intake all the bad things to be aware of and stay away from. I would rather reverse it and just say, hey, what are all the good things that I know have been proven time and time again that I need to incorporate more of? And I've just come around that it's fucking greasy vegetables that I hate. It's the stuff I don't eat. It's the stuff that I don't want to eat.
You need to find ways to, like, hide it. Find, like, look up recipes for kids with those ingredients, and then
exactly,
because that usually hides the flavor of the gross things.
Yep, I've noticed that. So, like, there's these shakes that are on that Kelly LeVeque. So I tried the blueberry one that I told you guys about, and I really like that one. But I just tried this new one. It's like a chocolate cookies and cream or something. Girls, it's so good. Oh my god, I'm like, if I can, I have 2 of them now that I can go to. So I'm like, I'm gonna keep trying more of them on our list, because I follow them to a T on the ingredients. And when you follow them to a T on the ingredients, oh man, they're good. Like, I've done it a few times.
Well,
I'm a play around with the ingredients person. I never measure anything. I just put a little of this in, put a little of that in.
The first time that I made it, and I only kind of liked it. That's why I was like, well, I'm going to try it to the T this time, and I loved it. So that's why I start there, and then I figure out what tastes I want more of and what I can go back on. And,
I've been really excited, though, because, like, now that I have more space here, like, way more space than I've ever had to myself, I can, I've been able to sort of buy or, like, accumulate a lot more herbs than I ever had room than I had room for before. And so I feel like I've been experimenting a lot more with flavor palettes, because I've had a lot more at my disposal to experiment with, which has been kind of nice. And, like, I feel like we just don't know how anymore to really flavor our foods in ways that make them appealing, even things that we might not eat otherwise.
And I think that's part of the reason why, like she was saying, I need to just find ways to prep them the way that I would like them.
Right.
And then, maybe I'll like them and eat them. So I want to try to... Well, the other thing that I want to do, too, with the herbs is I want to start to research what the health benefits are, the underlying things that they do. Like, I'm becoming more and more fascinated with the chemistry that's happening within the body, and, like, what hormones it's producing, and, like, what reactions it's having.
Girl, you would have made such a great science major.
I need to go back to school for some of this, I think, to be honest, because I love all the brain shit. I love all the nutrition shit. I'm delving in. I know.
Where I go, it's right there, and it's all. I'm doing mine all online. I'm sure you could start online and apply for grants because you're a mom, and an unmarried.
I kind of wonder if I want to go to I almost want to go and see like a holistic person and see, because when they say holistic, I think they talk about how there's other obviously issues around not just your health. It's like your mental health.
Is that what you want to like?
I feel like I might
like
study
whole, like holistic as in whole, not holistic as in natural sort of medicine.
Well, natural too. I think they're hand in hand. I think,
right?
Because I think that what I've come to like think in my own brain is the holistic healing. I think is like where you take the person and you try to really figure out from their issues that are going on in their head, like
if they have blocked chakras.
Yeah,
that's
too. Yeah, like what kind of emotional issues are you having as well that might be?
So you're coming from like a mind, body, soul, like holistic.
Kind of, yeah. I think it all kind of all ties together. I mean, like sometimes it's what you're eating, sometimes it's how you're acting in the world, sometimes it's how you're perceiving things, sometimes it's it could be a whole variety of things all on top of each other. And I feel like until people are able to unlayer that onion, they can't ever get to the root cause to actually figure what the fuck is going on so they can heal and then get better. Like a lot of times I feel like, and no offense to any of the therapies out there, but I fear that if I were to go to a therapist, I would be able to revisit all of my issues over and over and over again endlessly and never get to my root cause to heal. Like I want to figure out what is it that's chemically happening in my body that I can heal from the inside out, so that will help balance whatever mental issues.
So you're avoiding your actual issues. And
I mean, I'm not trying to avoid. I'm trying.
A therapist would tell you that you're using avoidance tactics to avoid the actual problem.
But you're trying to find other ways
I'm trying to find
the problem
for my own self, so I don't have to reveal all of my issues to someone else. If I'm being quite honest, but at the same time,
as someone who just did therapy, I can give you some of my packets, and like you wouldn't have to do a therapist. You could just like read my packet and be like,
hey, maybe that's what I need then.
I don't know if that's technically a substitute, but
well, if I can get the same material that the therapist would give me anyways.
You need some advice, just come to me. I've heard the advice. I'll tell you.
They would tell you this. You know what they would tell me. See, you can just be like my...
Hey, in my last session, my therapist told me that I'm my own therapist now, so I could be your therapist.
See, there we go.
You know where I live.
We're all reflections of each other, right? In some way, shape, or form.
We're all way off topic now.
Oh god, yeah. I mean, honestly, I'm feeling like I'm just having a conversation. You can take parts of this or not parts of this. I like conversations that are more like this anyways, if I'm being honest.
This is just our lunch today.
Yeah, like, I kind of like that. Because, I mean, there's times that we kind of fell into conversational mode.
We've been a little bit better at being structured last. Our audience hasn't heard, like, us go, like, super way off track too much for a while.
You're pretty good at editing.
We're coming back home, y'all.
You're pretty good at editing, by the way, so you can always make it.
Well, we have touched on a lot of the topics that we're supposed to be touching about, so that's fine.
Yeah, we're circling back.
We still should talk about. So, us growing up as cousins and like you guys sisters are like holiday celebrations as big family get-togethers.
Yeah. Well, this goes back to like something else we were talking about earlier too, like part of the reason for roots. I think I started this story and never finished it. So one of the reasons like I feel like be rooted or something like that, I associate so much of like we've always had like this one place like we
home
kinda, yeah, like feeling rooted like that. And like there's always this one place you can go.
I love that song. You ever heard that one?
Yeah, I
well, you have. I know that. I don't know if Sam has. It's a good one.
Is it like Mark Schultz or something like that?
Yeah. Oh, it's so sad. I cry like every time. Oh.
But yeah, so like I've always sort of associated like with large sort of family gatherings. Of course, we can't do that right now, which sucks. But like
Thanksgiving and Christmas were just total.
Yeah, it sucks.
Not the same. I mean, it was
like
different.
I miss seeing everyone and like. It was always like one of those traditional things. Like we just had, like it used to be at grandma's and at your mom's house for a couple of years, but now it's been like my mom's house, and like, so felt like You
It's
know,
something
that's
that has
like
always
the place.
congregated everyone together to look
Yeah,
forward
and
to.
usually for a
seeing
meal.
Each other for
You know what I
company
mean?
and
Like,
making a meal and that good
Yep,
food.
eating together, you know.
Well, it's funny because I remember when I didn't have this particular dish to bring, but ever since I've had dirt pudding to bring, I feel like, hey, that's my
You
contribution.
have to bring the dirt pudding.
Yes.
Children will cry if you don't.
Yes, I now know
Literally.
this. Oh my gosh. It was so funny. I did not expect that. They were like, no, she cried. Tears. I was like, oh.
Oh my god, her
Molly.
little face was like heartbroken.
Susie's not here with the dirt pudding.
So I feel like we need to tell the background story.
Yeah,
of
we should
this,
just-
Yeah,
because
we've
the
told
audience is
this
gonna
on
be
our
like,
mini
"What?"
episode, but if they didn't...
Yeah, so basically I
I guess we did
supposed
the
to
mini.
bring dirt pudding every year to our Christmas and our Thanksgiving get-togethers, and the kids always are the ones that look forward to it the most. I mean, let's be honest, all of us look forward to it the most. I mean, come on.
I like the banana pudding. But that's
Oh.
from my dad's side of the family. I think it was maybe like my Aunt Kathy
No, I like
who would
banana
always bring
too.
banana pudding.
I could start doing one and one. I like banana.
Maybe I'll
too.
start bringing banana
My mom
pudding.
likes banana too. Oh, ooh, that's even better. Then I don't have to make it.
Oh, the puddings.
But yes,
Everyone bring pudding.
Olivia will love it. No, I don't know if she likes banana. But anyways, yeah, so one year I had to work and I didn't have time and I couldn't make it. So I don't know I think that year I still picked up like a Sara Lee pie from the freezer section
so,
and
yeah.
brought that instead. And I was like, this is close enough, you know? I brought it in and I was like, sorry guys, I couldn't make the dirt pudding.
You
And
had to work
Oliv-
or something. Like,
Yep, I had to work. And Olivia was like, oh no, and like she just broke down in tears, started crying, like, oh my god.
It's everybody's favorite dish, and Susie disappointed
I
everyone.
did. I disappointed.
Hey,
for the
my
last
favorite
time.
dish was mashed potato.
Oh, okay. Hey, those are always there though.
Yeah,
My mom never
I-
disappoints on that.
We're at two
Or
big old
she-
pan families.
Yeah, you and mom, you get together and make sure we got big old pans of that
Yeah.
because the whole family is all about those mashed potatoes.
And there's usually still some to like hand out at the end too for like leftovers. So.
I think that's why they make so much, is just
Yeah,
to make
it
sure
is
that
part of
people
it.
can eat for another day or two after, which is also really awesome because man, those leftovers are so good for
bomb.com.
the next day or two.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, so when it comes to food,
Even when I'm like being my, I don't even know, my one, like I say it's a wannabe vegetarian, which I like, it's,
just like I do want to be, but
I don't know how to set personal boundaries in living with people that want to eat meat. I just like allow it and that I go along with the customary diet. And
Yeah.
so it's a personal boundaries issue at this point, but who has those? It's
Well, I think that's
working on it.
well, there's another thing too. I think that there's also you need to allow yourself to be okay with not being perfect because I mean, yes, in a perfect world, everybody would not eat meat. We would only eat plants. We would not kill animals. We would treat them all with dignity and respect, and not, you know, like there's a yin and a yang to
Well, I
everything.
think there would still be people
and
who
if you're
ate
even
them, but it would be
conscious
more
like you are, is
It
better
wouldn't
than
be
to not
like
Mass
mass farming,
produced.
yeah.
sort of a, yeah, it'd be of the land, or I mean, there would still be farmers and stuff, I'm sure, but it would still be more
Ethical hunting and
Yeah, I think.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
shot.
but we use a lot of our water resources and our land resources on feeding the animals that we're therefore just eating, and those animals aren't living in good conditions when we're raising them for us to eat, and
that's the part that at the end of the day it's like who can be okay with that, really. I mean, I think a lot of people, if they actually were to think about those conditions and put themselves in the shoes of those
Yeah.
living creatures and think that if
In
you know
the
what I mean,
mass-produced
like
farms and stuff.
it would just
yeah.
yeah.
mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And that's why when we eat cheeseburgers, we're like, oh, what are we
Why are we
supporting?
doing this?
But at the same time, like I cannot at the end of the day bring home. Not like bring home, I shouldn't say it like that.
Although
I can't take
those-
it to heart that I'm like a terrible person by eating a cheeseburger. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I know that I'm not a terrible
We
person.
just need more ethical choices.
I
Those
just need-
enchiladas I made last week were vegetarian.
They were very good too.
Yeah.
We're starting to do this new thing where we're trying to do new healthy recipes.
Yes, I'm supposed to cook on Friday. I have to
Yes.
remember.
Make a recipe Friday. I mean, mine wasn't necessarily healthy. I mean, I had like 2 whole bags of cheese on the top. So
Well, I shouldn't say healthy either. I mean,
It was
we're
really
gonna
good, though.
we're gonna just experiment
But
with
not
recipes.
to
We're
eat.
we're trying to eat healthier in general. So we're trying to kind of play around with different recipes and see
and also
what we
work as a
like and-
commune and
Yes.
providing food.
We
Yes,
just
yes.
cook for one another and make it all good. I still need to figure out what
we
I'm
were
gonna
also
make.
going to do a baby food swap,
Yes.
which I need to start actually making my own baby food because I actually haven't even started doing that yet.
Dude,
he eats what we eat for the most part. Like if we're eating hot wings, he's going to have hot wings. If he's
Can your babes have oranges and grapes?
grapes, we're still a little
Seedless ones?
that's like the biggest choking hazard even
Okay.
when they're cut. So right now we're still not doing grapes unless like it's a teeny tiny
What about pureed?
thing of it.
Yeah, that's what I was
Maybe.
gonna say. You can always
Okay.
smush them.
Because I have some like
But,
oranges and grapes I need to do. Maybe I
I've
can
done
do
this
like
oranges.
something. Okay, well they're kind of, I don't know, they're past the prime of eating, but I can still juice them, kind of.
You could juice them and blend them with banana.
Okay.
I
Maybe I'll do
believe that would be.
The other day I made a really good one. It was avocado blueberry. Oh, it was delicious.
Mommy ate this too.
Hell yeah, mommy ate that.
See, the
too.
thing-
I had to try it. I gotta know what I'm feeding her.
The thing with Levi
Don't
is
let me
like
not the
he
grapes,
doesn't
she'll
like
still eat 'em.
he doesn't like the like baby food texture anymore. Like he doesn't even care for like applesauce and like
She still loves that. She likes it to be
yeah.
mushy.
I remember when she was first
Unfortunately,
born.
kind of. She likes
or-
noodles too.
Not first born, but when she first started eating solids a little bit. Not solids, but purees, whatever.
Right.
Real food, not bottled.
Yes.
I made some applesauce for her. It's the first time I ever made applesauce.
Yeah, she liked that.
Yeah, we made a little bit of it
She
with
liked the
cinnamon,
pumpkin,
a lot of it
too.
with pumpkin. We've made some homemade stuff.
She
for
loves
her.
sweet potato. I want to see if Mom will maybe consider doing either sweet potatoes or squash because she loves both of those, sweet potato and butternut squash.
Mm-hmm.
So if
Put those in the
You can
garden.
plant some.
Yeah.
exactly.
Our plants, by the way, are blossoming a little bit.
You said
I'm pretty
that,
excited.
yeah. That'd
Yeah, I
be
shared
cool.
some stuff on the TikTok to show all of the peeps that we have some growth.
So, sorry, this is sort of interrupting,
No, that's
but
okay.
it's something that I wanted to make a TikTok about, but I just took a picture of. I don't know how to do TikTok that good, you know that. But I was on the Netflix the other day.
On the Netflix.
And in retro, it had Grey's Anatomy and some other, retro? When did this happen?
Well, I mean, it is like
Gilmore
10
Girls
more-
and Grey's Anatomy
Are
are
they in the
retro.
90s? Were they from the 90s?
I think 2000s.
I think
2000s?
2000s. Well, it is 2021.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Gilmore
Retro
Girls
you
was
would
the
think
2000s.
would be
yeah.
like,
Holy shit.
I don't know, not
More
that
than 15 to
old.
20
Yeah.
years.
Isn't retro just an era that happened during like the 80s, 70s, early
It just, like, stayed
90s,
stagnant
maybe?
there,
It's
right?
right over there.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't come into our decade.
Never,
How dare it
ever.
come near with us?
What are those days known as? The olden days? No.
I mean,
Classics.
Classics.
basically, yeah. We're classic bitches.
Oh man, you're getting old. Stop.
We are classic.
No, just kidding. It really doesn't. It's just, it's just an odd thing to witness as you get older, how you become
Yeah.
what your mom was when you were a little kid.
Old.
Yeah. I'm trying to word it in a better way.
I mean,
It doesn't sound
I
that
look
way.
like
Where
my
you were
mom
going.
and my dad. When I look in the mirror, I can see like my mom and my dad at the same like.
I
Yeah.
100%. Yep. I can see it too.
I don't know if I can see my mommy and my dad.
I think you look a lot like Mom did when she was young. She has like a couple
Mom,
pictures.
yes, but Dad, I don't know. Dad'll always say I have Grandpa Stu's ears.
Yeah. I don't know.
How do you have?
They're
I mean,
probably shaped
maybe.
the same a little,
Maybe.
I guess.
I
I don't
guess.
know.
Ooh, I've been growing my not growing. I've been gauging my ears out bigger again because I like gave them a rest after I had Levi just because I was tired of putting them in every day.
And then you gotten them back
yeah,
in?
but now they're just one size smaller than what I had before. So then I'll they're not quite. I had to I have tape on them right now to make them bigger, but
Yeah.
hopefully I'll get bigger than I was because right now I'm almost there.
Nice.
Yeah, I don't know. I can never do the gauged ears thing. I don't know. I'm not. Never.
It's not my jam.
Doesn't
It
float
looks
your boat.
It
Yeah.
looks cool on other people, but it's not my jam.
Yeah,
That's what
fine.
I mean. Yeah, exactly. I'm the same.
I wouldn't want everyone to have the same thing.
Yeah, you're like, I want to be different. Leave me alone.
Well, no, that's what I'm saying. Like, I like it on other people, like you're saying. I think it looks cool, but
I'm very aware that there are things that some people. I mean, technically speaking, I could wear it if I wanted to, but I just don't feel like I don't personally feel like I'd be comfortable in it. / couldn't pull it off. You know, I'm just not that cool. You know. I'm so boring. No, I say as I have like pink hair, right? Also,
I want to redo my hair. I want to cut it, and you want to get that. See, I think of like a little bowl or a Taurus every time I see.
I was thinking about like the ones that like ring down, like just a ring kind of.
I remember when Mary got that, and I was like, "Oh my gosh!" But honestly, she pulls it off really good.
Yeah, there's an app. I'm gonna have to show you. I should have expected
it, I guess, at first, but now I totally would.
I'm gonna have to show you once we are like done recording. But I made a TikTok, and it was like this piercing filter, and it had put like the septum in, and I was like, "Damn, maybe I do need this."
That's one thing that I've learned about filters. Like, it is kind of a cool thing to be able to, if you want to like try a different hair color,
trying to manipulate you into changing your body.
I mean, well, dude, honestly, it is really sad that there are girls that have literally gone to plastic surgeons and
to try and look like a filter.
Yes, look like they're fucking filters. It's like, no, girl.
Have you guys ever read the book The Uglies by Scott Westerfeld? It's like a dystopic teen novel.
Girl,
I'm not.
Every time either of you ask if I've read any book, the answer is no, unless it's Charlie and the Chocolate Factory or The Jungle. Then no, I have not read them.
That's cool. Well, anyways, this is a really good book. I'm going to tell you about it anyway. And like, I think they're supposed to be making an adaptation of it. But anyways, it's about like this future where like being like beautiful in today's terms, like a model in a like magazine is like considered ugly. Like they've come like this long way about like manipulating their body in these like certain ways.
Shallow
like,
hell-ish style.
But like futuristic.
I mean, not really, but I'm saying, remember that movie where like he was seeing the inside of what the person looked like and not the outside, and when he would see like,
well, the message was
a person that looked good to everyone,
right,
but they looked actually really ugly on their inside.
Right. He saw them like for their inner selves. Well, I think the kind of point of the series is like it's the inside that counts, and like we are very superficial and yada yada. But yeah,
there's some good stories probably within that. I can see that being a good.
Yeah.
I think more and more people are waking up to that, though. Like, that, things... materialist stuff is just not what counts at the end of the day. When you're going to your grave, you ain't taking none of that with you, so... Don't focus on that your whole life.
Right.
And then B, that hand in hand goes with, like, superficial, like, material, surface level stuff. Like, I think a lot of people are trying to go a lot deeper and realize... more... What's the word?
We hope.
I mean, true. This is true. I don't know, though. When I, like, click on certain videos that I'm watching and I see how many views there are, I'm hopeful. Like, I really am. I feel like there's a lot of people... And if, like, what I believe about, like, subconscious / universal conscious is true, I feel like every one of us, if we're working on ourselves, is making a difference.
Yeah.
Not everybody is out for self-improvement, though, so...
Well, that's true, but... I don't know. I think that, like I said earlier, there's a yin and a yang to everything. So without the bad stuff, we wouldn't be able to like truly recognize and appreciate the good stuff. So I can kind of see that. And not everybody's going to be on board with the same shit at the same time.
I'll just keep holding my rocks, and if people come near me, I'll start throwing them at them.
But what if they came near you to say, "Hey, can I share your rocks?"
Get the fuck away from me! These are my rocks. I don't know why I get accents. They're terrible accents. Also, I don't know where I'm from. I don't know where I'm from. I'm from somewhere.
You're from Samantha.
I've been told that I have a really Chicago accent, though. So apparently that's the thing.
Yeah.
Which I didn't know. Chicago-ish accent.
It's kind of funny when you go to places and you're the one with the accent. Like, I haven't really gone to
everyone has an accent.
Yeah, everyone has an accent.
Just a relative.
But it's interesting to think about because, like, I'm all, we always get all...
Think that they're the one with the accent.
Yeah,
everyone thinks we're the one with an accent.
An Irish guy, or an Australian accent,
or
an American.
Yeah, we're like, oh, an American. Have you guys ever heard somebody do an American impersonation?
Yes.
It's great.
Many times.
It's great. Because it's so accurate and true and funny. Like, I'm one that likes that type of humor, like the offensive type of stuff, because I can laugh at myself, and I like...
Irish guys would do that all the time when I met them. In Ireland.
Oh, like doing an American accent, like, oh, listen to you American.
Yeah. Well, I think they're better at it than we are, though, at doing theirs. And I think it's because they're, like, so saturated with American television over there. Like, I mean, they do have, like, the BBC and whatever. But a lot of what they have watched up until this point is U.S.
American
or
stuff,
American,
right?
Yeah.
We do have really, I mean, Hollywood is very good at what they do. I'm just saying.
Yeah. Well, like some of the things, I mean, they were watching like Big Bang Theory, I think, when I was over there. Friends.
I'm so glad
CSI.
they came out with that. Like, I feel like that brought such good awareness to people, to the women going into the science world. Like, that gave me hope to actually rediscover science and stuff. So, right, I went off on a tangent.
I kind of forgot where we were.
Back to our family gatherings, though. I also remember one of the staple dishes being deviled eggs.
Yes, deviled eggs for sure. I shared a variation of that with
Yeah,
Ostara stuff.
Yeah,
Made with the real mayonnaise. None
of that salad dressing
Miracle
crap.
Whip shit.
Yeah. I mean, no, much love to
No,
those
that is my preference,
people
though.
who like that. It is Miracle Whip is your preference?
Oh hell no! The
Oh,
real
I was gonna be like,
thing,
what?
not the Miracle Whip shit.
Yeah. I'm the same way. Mayo all the way. Also, being someone who likes mayo, it was great being overseas because they would dip their fries in like mayo, which is like actually very good and very not American, but it's better than ketchup. Fight me. Okay, don't really fight me. I'm not a fighter, but
I've never been in a fight.
Me neither.
I mean, I don't think I really have either.
I mean,
I mean, we've
you
tussled a
growing
little
up,
bit, but we were
we're
never
kind
that
of like-
rough.
Oh,
with each
yeah,
other,
my brother
really.
My brother would put me in a case and throw me down the stairs, but that's another thing.
Oh my god.
That's a sibling fight. That's not the same.
Yeah.
That's not a
God.
street fight. Yeah, nope. I have not either. I've never had
Me
to.
neither.
I never had to get physical with anybody.
I've
over
just
anything.
never really been a fan of physical violence. So
I was always a pussy.
I never
would
lost
run
a
away.
match when we were like sparring in basic training or whatever.
uh-huh.
I don't
Oh,
even
you
know
have
what's
to
called
spar
sparring.
though.
But like we would always tie because I would always like I would never give up, but I also don't know how to dominate people either.
Yeah.
I just you know.
So how is the
Yeah.
food there?
in basic? Yeah. I mean, I guess we could talk about that. Yeah, because it's on topic.
You're welcome.
I love you. But no, that's actually a good point. So I kind of want to brag about that because there was always like the dessert table or like the ice cream bar or whatever, and it was for like pretty much forbidden unless you passed your PT test, which I passed day one. Like I passed my first PT test, so I was always allowed to go and like because I always passed height and weight, I always passed everything. But if you didn't pass height and weight and you weren't good at your PT test, you couldn't like you better be on your diet. And
Dang.
Wow.
What kind of a diet would they give them? Like, would they give like high protein, high fat, low
just
carb?
pretty much just shouldn't be like touching the dessert and like there's also like soda and stuff I think and
Oh, like you're forbidden to touch that stuff too.
yeah pretty
So
much
basically just the normal food in general, but just not the sweet stuff and the extra stuff and
Yeah.
the bad stuff. Gotcha.
That would suck.
What kind
I
of stuff
remember.
did they have
I
there,
remember
though,
the
too?
very first day when we were staying overnight. There was little like to go things of like little Oreos, and a whole bunch of people apparently stole them and had them in their pockets. And one kid got caught, and so he got like pulled out in front of everybody. And like started to get drilled in front of everybody. He got dropped and was doing push-ups, and like all of a sudden like the drill sergeants were asking if anybody else had any, they all turned around at once, and you could see the, like, Oreos flying over their heads into the ditch because everyone just pulled them out of their pockets and was, like, tossing them when the drill sergeants weren't looking, and I was like, holy shit, like, all of these people, like, there was so many people that, like, was trying to steal fucking Oreos, like, seriously?
Damn.
Wow.
But it was hilarious, like...
Everybody's like, I'm gonna get something for free.
Yeah, I always have that memory of all you dumbasses.
Oh my god.
You say it like you weren't one of them. No, I'm just kidding.
But no, I got to eat whatever I wanted, and...
Yeah.
But
Do they
what
always
kind of
have
stuff do they have to
selection
serve,
there?
though, I guess, is
Yeah.
what my question is.
I mean, they always have, like,
good
a
food,
pasta,
or-
I think, and, I mean, it was better than, like, cafeteria food, but, it was kind of like you got to go through a line and choose, you know, different dishes and different options. But
like, they had a little bit of a
yeah.
variety here,
Yeah.
here. You chose kind of what you wanted.
there was usually,
here,
like, a
here.
salad, I think, and, like, vegetable options, and, like,
Nice.
you know, but, like, nothing too, like... indulgent or
Right.
special,
Right, it's
you
not
know,
like they're feeding
but
y'all
it was decent.
steaks.
But we did have,
Yeah.
I remember they did Thanksgiving feast
Mhm.
at one point. We also got to
Nice
leave
up
base
for
for
Christmas.
after Thanksgiving. Well, I got discharged before Christmas, so I had like a shorter training session because they wanted us to graduate in advance, so we didn't have to come back after Christmas.
Mm.
It had a special name. I don't remember what it was called.
Sounds like a pretty decent spread for the most part. I mean,
Yeah.
for what
It wasn't
was,
terrible.
yeah.
I survived on it. I actually loved basic because
That's kind of how I felt,
I was
think.
the most fit in my entire life. I went into it knowing that they were going to yell at me. That's their job. But it's also their job to get me to graduate. So, like,
Yeah.
I wasn't too afraid of them because they're also
Yeah.
supposed to be on my side.
Yeah, they likely weren't going to set you up to fail or anything like that. Yeah.
Yeah. And, like, I knew that. So I was kind of, like, had that good mindset. Like, yeah, let's do this. Like... yell at me if you have to, like, whatever.
Yes, I know I'm lazy, but just tell me to do it and I'll do it.
Yeah. For sure.
But we also got, like, laundry service, so we didn't have to do our own laundry. And then we got, like, free meals. We got free personal training. We got, like,
There were perks,
you know,
yeah.
socialization. We got a roof over our head. Like,
You didn't have to worry about wearing makeup or worry
Yeah.
about wearing all the clothes.
we got paid
and
to live there, so we didn't have to have rent or,
bills
yeah.
and Didn't have to worry
It was
about
pretty
having
nice.
a house with all of the things that come with having a fucking house and the things in it.
Yeah.
The keep of it and yeah.
It was
Nice.
very
I can see the
nice.
perks.
Like,
Were,
She's like, that was my life, man.
so were you
Like-
allowed to like cook when you lived there, or were you bound by
No,
whatever
you
the
couldn't
cafeteria?
no, we didn't have, like, kitchen access. Well, at least
That
I
was a
That
little
didn't.
would suck
disappointing.
for me.
That would be kind of nice if they
Yeah.
would allow that. Like if you wanted to and could and had the means to get your own
Wait a
food
minute, I'm
for
gonna-
yourself.
I'm
like,
sure
We
there were
did
perks to
grill
having it,
out
but-
when we had grounds access to leave the grounds.
Mhm.
We also, I believe there was, like, places to grill on, but that wouldn't have been during basic. That would have been during AIT, which is our, like, job training after basic. During basic, we live in the barracks, have to go and eat at the chow hall, and
Yeah.
or we're eating MREs in the field.
What's an MRE?
It's a meal ready to
Ready.
eat, and it's like just a preserved
Yeah.
food in a bag,
All the preserved.
air sealed bag.
Did you ever eat out, or were you just like, I have free food here that's already being cooked for me? That's probably just as good or bad if I go out.
Oh, see, this is how old I am because maybe it's the trauma, maybe it's my age, I don't know, but it's hard to even remember.
Yeah.
I want to say that on base, there were restaurants on base.
Oh, actually, literally on base.
Yes.
Interesting.
And also in the chow hall, I think there was like a little food court that had little restaurants, but
Trying to remember.
I don't remember. That might have been when I actually lived on post, because I've also
Yeah.
lived on an actual post before, and I don't know if this was the post I was in training on or the one that I lived on after training. My memory is fucking doesn't
That's okay.
know time. What the fuck is time?
So, what are some of your favorite places to eat out now? Because, I mean, we have already said that we have been eating out a bit more.
Pig
in
Minds,
pandemic-wise.
because they're a vegetarian restaurant. Maybe
Oh, okay.
vegan? Are they vegan? Question mark. I don't know. I know vegetarian at least, but they're a local restaurant.
They're called
Yeah.
Pig Vines?
Pig Minds.
Pig Minds?
Yes.
It just has an interesting name for it to be vegetarian. If it says pig in the name, it just has. It seems weird.
I think it's supposed to make you question what meat and stuff, because they have a lot of meat alternatives that are
of the pork kind or whatever. Okay.
Well, I wouldn't say just of the pork kind, like of any kind. It's just like a play on words.
Well, I thought maybe it was, well, right. Well, I thought maybe with the pig because never mind. I thought because of pig being specific that maybe their specialty was pork, but
they have all kinds of things, and I would recommend them.
How about you, Susie? What's your favorite place to eat out?
I mean, I think the most frequent place that I eat out at would probably be like Chipotle. We all seem to go to Chipotle pretty often. I also really still like that spicy chicken from Wendy's. I'm disappointed though because they seem to be discontinuing some of my favorites at other places.
Yeah,
like I was telling you guys earlier about roast beef at Subway, and then they discontinued this chicken sandwich that I liked from Beefaroo. It was like a grilled chicken sandwich, caviata or something. It was really yummy, and I went to go get that the other day because it was somewhat healthy. You know, it's actually
I think it's ciabatta.
Ciabatta.
What did you say? Ciabatta?
Caviata. I forget what the fuck it was.
I think it's...
They don't have it anymore, though. Whatever it was, it's gone. So.
Yeah.
But anyways, I need to figure... I think there's a turkey wrap that I like from there that's not too bad.
Yeah.
But anyways,
I felt that way about, like, the McDonald's chicken nuggets back in the day. When they got rid of those, like, the old school ones before they went all white meat.
Those were really
where you
good.
had to, like... Because
It was the dark
With,
meat.
like, the super crispy on the outside.
Yes.
Are you gonna... I think I know what you're gonna say, but go ahead.
So, I used to... I was such a weird kid. I would, like... get chicken nuggets, and then I'd bite each one to see which was a dark meat, which was a white meat.
Yeah.
And then I would eat all the white meat first, and then eat all the dark meat, because that was obviously the best, and they don't have that anymore, and it makes me sad. And I know it was probably worse, but it tasted better.
What's funny is
Sorry, not sorry.
I used to do the same thing because I learned that from you.
Kid.
Yeah, I used to just like bite one every single chicken nugget. I'd bite one, and then
That was the way to do it. I'm guessing we're not alone in this. Like, were there any others of you out there who did this?
That would be very interesting to find out.
I'm super curious. Scientific experiments. Tag us on Twitter. Contact us on the TikTok. Tell me, did you separate out your old school McDonald's chicken nuggets? I'm very curious.
Not even just by biting them and separating them, but just separating them out in general so you can save the ones that you liked for last. Yeah, no, I'm the same way. I used to do that.
Did you do this, Sam?
But like,
I don't remember doing that. I don't remember
I remember
that.
being a kid, and every time we would go, I remember every time that we would go, here's the thing also with my relationship with food, is restaurants. So like, I remember growing up, every time that we would go out to the cousins, I remember Aunt Bev is notorious for driving through KFC for us. I loved KFC.
I think because she knows that you like it. Because I don't remember her, like, we don't... That wasn't somewhere that we went all the time. That was somewhere that we went because you were there.
Aww. That's so sweet. I was like, I always remember she used to always
To be fair, it was probably to avoid an issue because you were kind of a picky eater.
I was.
Like, we could not just get
chicken.
pizza. Susie would not eat pizza. We would always have chicken and pizza at the house because this little one over here needed her chicken.
Bitch. That's what you wanted to say.
This little one over here needed her chicken.
I know, man. I got it coming, man. She's gonna be a picky eater.
So far, she's been fine.
She has been,
hopefully
actually.
she'll stay that way, but... Yeah.
But yeah, no, honestly, I feel like The other thing that I was going to say for associating KFC is on the weekends with Dad and Auntie, we would always drive through KFC and pick out a movie at the rent place next door. And then she would
let us buy such inappropriate movies.
Oh yeah, that's where we would find our horror movies and have nightmares and
renting movies. I miss
yeah, right. Renting VHSs.
Oh my fucking god, we're so old.
Talking about retro.
I know. Maybe we are retro.
We are retro.
Shit, we are retro. We know about floppy disks at school.
Cassette tapes,
cassette tapes in the car. Oh yeah, see.
Oh man.
Well, I don't know about 8-track players, so we're not classic yet. We don't know about the records, That's classic.
Oh, records are coming back though.
Yeah.
I've seen that, yeah.
I have
record quality, yeah.
But I remember putting the KFC in the fridge at Dad's and then having it the next morning for breakfast with Scott. We would get a big old bucket, and I used to love some leftover KFC cold in the morning, man. But then also, I remember Old Country Buffet used to be a place that we would, as this side of the family, often.
Some holidays, like Easter and stuff sometimes, yeah.
If they didn't feel like cooking, we would just go to
Doc's Diner. We would always meet up at Doc's Diner when Doc used to run that place. We kind of fell off of that once he left, but he was always a really
I still like it.
I haven't gone there very much since then, but
yeah.
I mean, something about their biscuits changed, and I didn't like it. They were too dry for my taste, and
yeah, something changed for sure.
But yeah, so there's definitely always been an association with food and family get-togethers, and whether it's at our house for holiday, like Christmas and Thanksgiving, or going out and just meeting up with each other for a weekend or a birthday or some other reason that we need to have a Mother's Day.
Food has definitely played a central role in all of our lives in some way, shape, or form.
Well, it makes sense because if you think about it, if we are as consciousness one with our mind and body, whatever, your body is what you eat. You are what you eat, they say, and they're not lying really. So it all kind of goes together, and we all have to eat.
Yeah.
So and it's something that we all have in common, and.
So
everyone loves delicious food.
100%.
And everyone loves different.
I feel like we could probably end this episode with Susie dumping her pop.
It was all good. It had a cap on it. It went up right, so we're good.
So it feels appropriate now that Susie spilt.
Yes.
To wrap things up. I think that really there's a lot more that we could probably say about each of the individual topics we've had here today. And we might have to go into some of this later. But yeah, I'm glad we talked about food. I feel like I never even got into my kitchen witchery.
I was just going to say, as we go on maybe in this season, we can come back to cooking, and then we can talk about kind of as we do our recipes that we're trying, we can kind of, gather some information for you guys and then come back for a future episode that's hey, these are the ones that we've tried. These are the ones that were successful. These are the
what
ones
are some
that
food-related things that you want us to continue our conversations about? And what are some new topics in that arena?
Yeah, we definitely need a part 2 to this because we kind of went on our little tangents that we do.
And we knew we were going to because we were just going to kind of record as we talked over lunch. So, I mean, it wasn't like we planned on it being
we're less structured than we've been for the last several episodes.
We were planning on it not being quite as concise anyway, so sorry about that. But at the same time,
you get old
you guys
school
know, you guys know what we're like when we're on lunch now. You guys are the lunch thing. So.
Well, I guess we should probably talk about who are we... Are we going to talk about a small business today, or do a shout out to someone or something, or what are we going to do to wrap this up?
Well,
to seal the end of the episode.
I know earlier we were kind of asking Samantha about that nugget. Did we already talk about the nugget on any other episodes?
I don't think so.
To this?
It has the name of a food.
It
but
does.
It is not
a food.
Yes, it is not a food, but it was a very interesting item.
Yeah, so we just celebrated Ostara, and we just got our nugget, so we just had the kids get that.
So can you explain what the nugget is?
It's like a couch/fort thing. It's like it's a couch that comes apart in different sections of the cushions that you can build different things out of.
Yeah.
And
Kind of like a puzzle couch.
yeah, so it was like back ordered. I don't even remember when we actually ordered it. We didn't win the lotto because there was like a lotto around Christmas time.
Because they were like super popular or something.
Yeah,
right?
and we didn't win any of
Back-ordered.
those, so then we had to back order it, and then we just got our back ordered one now.
Nice.
But I think we back ordered it back in January, maybe? I don't know.
So it was a while
So they're in
ago.
high
Yeah, and I
Where,
am
so
already
maybe I'd
considering
back
buying a
order.
second one. So, yeah.
So beware if you do go to check these out that they might not be readily available right away. But you know,
Well, because you were saying that you could like section them off in like different ways depending on what pieces you had and how many
Yeah,
pieces
so
and
it
whatever,
comes
right?
with like 2 double cushions and then 2 triangles, which are like the pillows. And then so
Nice.
if you have multiple, then you can like build bigger forts and different whatever you want to design, rocket ships or elephants or Christmas trees or
so
you know,
the kiddos will probably get a kick out of them.
yeah, yes.
So
Levi passed out yesterday, like in between me and Trevor on the couch, which he's never done before. He's always fallen asleep in somebody's arms,
Aww.
and he just
So
like
he's
laid
weak.
down and he was like, ugh, and he just fell asleep, and I was like, he played really hard today, and that was the first day that we had the Nuggets, so
Wear your children out with this thing.
yeah.
So is it? I'm looking at their website. This isn't sponsored by any means, but we're just telling.
No,
you
we're
things we
sponsored
love.
by
We just like to
nobody.
bring awareness.
So far.
It's nuggetcomfort.com, nuggetcomfort.com is
Yep.
where you get it. Is that correct?
Correct.
Awesome. Okay. Well, thanks for sharing, and thanks for sharing this time with us.
Yeah, we'll have
while
to
we
talk
ate
more
our
about
lunch
Lunch
food.
with us.
and talked food and all kinds of other things that just made its way in there. For
Sorry,
our
not sorry.
tradition. Sorry, not sorry. So thanks so much for listening, Coven.
Have a good
We will
day,
see you
guys.
next
Thank you
time.
for all of it. Blessed be.
Blessed be. Thank you for listening to this week's episode of Midwest Coven Cast.
Be sure to subscribe so you never miss an episode.
And if you love us, consider leaving us a review.
You can also join our coven by following us on social media.
At Midwest Coven on Twitter and at Midwest Coven Cast on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok.
You can also find us at MidwestCovenCast.com.
Until next time, Coven, blessed be.